AEW Full Gear 2021 did not disappoint. A number of incredible matches, incredible stories. We got a big debut as well, and on the pre-show we saw Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida defeat Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter. Yeah, kind of went as expected. It was a decent match. So yeah, not really going to cover it too much, but that was basically the pre-show, and let's get straight into the main show, which started off with Darby Allin versus MJF. The opening moments were reckless from Darby Allin. That gave MJF the opening he needed. Every time it looked like Darby was going to get back in it, MJF just continued to get in trouble before Darby fought back with a low drop kick. However, MJF cut him off again. Unfortunately for MJF, it looked like a move on the edge of the ring did damage to his knee, but he went for a powerbomb, but Darby countered it. Wardlow and Shield and Spears were starting to make their way down to the ring, getting concerned. Darby then brought out his skateboard and went to hit MJF with it before MJF cowered in fear, and Darby decided against hitting it. As the referee went to toss it out of the ring, MJF hit Darby with the diamond ring and picked up the win. Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Really competitive, fun match to kick off the show. Absolutely loved it. Before moving on, we got Lucha Bros versus FTR for the tag titles. Phoenix had Cash Wheeler in the Tree of Woe on top of Harwood early on, before Penta and Harwood were legal men at this point. Harwood planted Penta in the middle of the ring for a 2 count. Harwood then antagonised over Phoenix and distracted the referee while Wheeler tried Penta's mask to the bottom rope. Phoenix was then on fire and coming in destroying everyone, before Penta was tagged in and went for the Three Amigos as a tribute to Eddie. Phoenix then followed that with a frog splash, before Wheeler then put the mask on, and Harwood had won the one where he won the AAA tag team titles. Wheeler went for the roll up, but then the feet were on the rope. Lucha Bros spiked Wheeler with an assisted pile driver and picked up the W. FTR took the Lucha Bros to their limits, but it didn't happen. Kind of the way I wanted this match to go, and it went exactly that way. Really, really fun match. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Moving on, it was the final of the World Title Elimination Tournament, Miro versus Bryan Danielson. Miro outpowered him early on before Danielson lit up Miro with some strikes in the corner. Bryan avoided Miro's offense, running the ropes, taking the big man down before Miro was rolled out of the ring for respite as Bryan went for a top rope suicide. Miro stopped Bryan in his tracks and hit an uppercut. Back in the ring, Danielson found an opening and Miro was hit with a running dropkick. Danielson then got on the apron and hit a running knee. The American Dragon rolled Miro into the ring and hit a dropkick before Bryan locked in a knee bar and Miro looked trapped in the middle of the ring. However, he managed to power his way back. Bryan then went for a stomp on the former TNT champion and reversed Miro's pinning attempt after he made a move. Miro then invited Danielson to kick him as he absorbed the kicks. Danielson then finally managed to choke Miro out for the win. This was relentless, fast-paced, really entertaining action. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Can't wait for Danielson versus Page or Omega. Page. Next up, it was the Superclick versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. We got a chaotic start with Jungle Boy tossing a chair at Adam Cole. The chair was then sent into the middle of the ring as Jungle Boy faced the Young Bucks. Cole then came in and booted the young superstar before Christian hit a reverse DDT. The match soon spilled outside with Jungle Boy going for multiple top rope suicidas. The Young Bucks then smashed a steel chair into his face. Jungle Boy went for a concerto on Adam Cole, but Matt Jackson stopped it. Multiple chairs were used by that time. Matt Jackson went to toss Jungle Boy out of the ring, but he was hit with a big move before Matt Jackson then headed to the top rope and hit Luchasaurus with an elbow. The camera then cut to Christian and Nick Jackson brawling amongst the fans. Cage took out Nakazawa and Cutler as well. The action was back at ringside when the Bucks brought out thumbtacks. They stuffed some into Jungle Boy's mouth and hit him with a double super kick. A ladder then was brought into the ring. Christian went crashing into it and rolled out the ring. Luchasaurus then found himself in the ring with all of the super click. The Jurassic Express member quickly got on control and Jungle Boy managed to get back in and locked a snare trap on Matt Jackson. Cage then went for the kill switch, but it was broken by Nick. The Superclick then put on a special spike knee pads and hit Luchasaurus with a triple BTE trigger. Jungle Boy broke the count before Christian took Nick Jackson down with a spear and Luchasaurus chokeslammed Cole into the ramp. Meanwhile, Jungle Boy hit Matt Jackson with a concerto on the entrance ramp to pick up the win. Didn't see this result coming, but it's a really, really fun match. A lot more violent than I thought it would be, to be honest. But yeah, on the whole, it was really fun. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Next up, it was Cody and Pac versus Andrade and Black. That kind of rhymes up. Pac tagged himself in early on before getting blindsided by Andrade, so you can kind of tell there's a bit of tension between all four. Black then soon tagged himself in, only for Cody to jump in. Cody and Andrade brawled on the outside before Jose Andrade suggested grab Cody's legs, giving Andrade the opening. Pac then sent both Black and Andrade crashing out before Jose confronted Arn Anderson, and then they had a little fight which was just joyous to watch. Andrade launched himself over the top rope into Pac before launching himself against the barricade. Cody then took out Andrade and hit a Fogger of 4-leg lock. Pac went for a dive, but Madakoi back pulled Cody away and beat him up. Meanwhile, in the ring, Andrade charged at Pac, who hit him with a belly-to-belly suplex. Pac then hit the Black Arrow for the win. FTR briefly came out and attacked Pac and Cody. This was definitely the weakest match on the card so far. It was still fun. I would have liked to see the heels get the win here, but you know, it is what they was. They kind of still ended on top, so I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Next up was Britt Baker versus Tay Conte. Tay Conte got on her opening early on, hitting her Patterson kids, before Reba then handed Britt Baker her glove, and this brought Conte time to fight back after Baker hit a move. Baker reversed a nasty looking move from Conte and attempted the backside, but Conte reversed it and went for a TKO for a near fall. Conte quickly struck back with a Gotch style pile driver for another near fall before Reba distracted the referee. Baker then hit a curb stop into the steps before hitting a second curb stomp. Conte managed to get back in control, hitting Baker with a spinning neck breaker and rolled into the ring. DDT wasn't enough to put Baker away, and after such a long match, Baker rolled her up. Yeah, to be honest, the finish was disappointing. The match was fine, but we kind of just need to get to that Thunder Rosa feud with Baker now. Before we moved on to CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. CM Punk and Kingston had a little brawl before the bell. Punk hit back with a running knee in the corner before the match spilled out to the apron, and then Kingston went for an exploder suplex, but Punk blocked it and hit a boot to the Mad King. Punk then smashed Eddie Kingston's hand against the steel steps and went for a GTS before he was busted open as soon as he slammed Kingston in the middle of the ring. The crowd was on fire for this match. Punk rained down with rights and lefts and then did another tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Both men were getting back onto their feet at the same time and charging at each other. Kingston mocked Punk but used a few too many seconds, and the straight edge superstar got back in control. Kingston got back on his feet before Punk rained down rights on Kingston, shot that the fans were booing. He then hit Kingston with a GTS and to put him away. 8 out of 10, just an incredible match. It's times like this when I realise I'm so happy CM Punk is back. This was just so fun, and I can't wait for Kingston to finally get that big win some point soon. Next up was an Inner Circle versus American Top Team. Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky started things off, and Guevara got off to his fly, dominating Sky and tagging in Ortiz. He then sent Scorpio Sky into a vertical suplex position as Hager tagged in. Hager finished the suplex to Sky, and Andrei Ozlowski tagged in. He hit a Samoan drop before Junior Dos Santos was tagged in. Hager tagged out to Jericho, who charged Dos Santos, but he caught him in midair. Lambert then slapped Jericho across the face and ran circles around it. As Jericho went to strike Lambert, things broke down. Santana and Ortiz hit a double top rope to the CD. He launched himself at a sea of people, wiping everyone out. Jericho then went after Lambert again, but it didn't work. Sky and Ethan Page had Santana isolated in the ring before Ozlowski came in and hit a running splash in the corner. Page then caught Ortiz with a boot to the head. Ben of the Era isolated Jake Hager, and they were in total control before Santana and Ortiz managed to hit Dos Santos with a suplex. Dan Lambert and Jericho were in the ring. Jericho went for a lion salt before Lambert got near fall off the cover. Jericho then unloaded on Lambert with a kendo stick and followed up with a stapler shot to the abdominal area. Jericho then paid tribute to Eddie Guerrero, a frog splash to Lambert, and picked up the win. This was really good. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Just a fun match, just before the main event. It's exactly what you want, and the Inner Circle getting the win back as well. It was then announced that Jay Lethal was All Elite and said that the Forbidden Door had changed AEW and challenged Sammy Guevara to a TNT title match on Wednesday. For me, that's a really good signing by AEW. Can't wait to see what he does, and that match should be great. Before we got Omega versus Page in our main event, Hangman Has to Be entrance was just brilliant. Just go and look it up. I can't really do it justice. The match started with both of them trading chops before Don Callis caught Page's boot, giving Omega the advantage. The cleaner then had the referee distracted as Callis choked Page at the bottom rope. Page then hit hit back, sending Omega out to ringside before Chalice distracted the challenger. Back in the ring, the champion hit a thumb to the eye, taking back control of the match. The match spilled outside again, and Omega went for a splash off the middle rope, but Page got his knees up. He then hit a big boot before unloading. Back in the ring, Hangman Page hit a brainbuster. Omega hit back with a springboard and a Elijah bomb. The world champion followed up with a snapdragon suplex. However, Omega managed to cut him off, hitting a gutbuster, and Omega was reeling. Sorry, Hangman hit that, I just realised. Hangman then headed to the top rope, but Omega went for a German suplex because it failed. Page landed on his feet, however, and hit a rolling lariat. Hangman went for a buckshot again, but took out the ref. Don Chalice took the title belt and went to strike Page, who took him down. He then hit Omega with a dead eye, but the referee was down. Aubrey Edwards ran down, and Hangman kicked out at the last second. He then intercepted the V-trigger, and Omega connected with his next V-trigger attempt. Omega followed up with repeated boots to the head before Hangman got in Omega's face. More kicks from Omega before the Young Bucks came down, and it looked like Omega was going to win. Page then got on the apron, but Matt Jackson gave him a look of respect and didn't stop him. A second buckshot lariat this time. Matt Jackson, with tears in his eyes, nodded at Page the second. Page then covered the Omega to pick up the win. What a moment, what a story. This was just absolutely magnificent. You know what, I'm just going to do it. 10 out of 10. Just unbelievable pro wrestling. Overall, AEW Full Gear gets a 9 out of 10 from me, excluding the main event, which as we know was just absolutely brilliant. The rest of the show was still pretty good, really consistently good. Some bits obviously weren't as great as others, but on the whole it was just another unbelievable pro wrestling show from AEW, and these pay-per-views, I think the last 2 or 3 now, have really delivered just magnificently. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, let me your thoughts, comments down below, follow me on Twitter, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to my channel on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.